Hey everyone, it's Sue here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am working on Inchies or Twinchies. It's for a swap from the Nina Ribena Facebook group, and I'm just showing you all the products that I'm going to use here. So I have this stencil and I go ahead and use this really old acrylic paint. You can see it is not, it's thick. So I use that as a paste, and I use this, which is also fairly thick at this point. It's Black Gesso by Claudine Helmuth, which are Ranger products. I'm going to use the Black Gesso to cover my mixed media paper. I also pulled out these silks. They're acrylic glaze. One is in gold and one is in a beautiful it's called Guatemalan green is what it's called. And I'm just showing you all these other products. I did not end up using that fine liner, but I did use this paint in brushed pewter. Let's see what else. That is my Uniball in black, my Signo pen. And then I went through my stash of different little pieces of items to see what I could put on these Twinchies. So a Twinchie is a 2-inch by 2-inch like a little card that you decorate, very much like an ATC, same thing, except it's 2-inch by 2-inch square. I also went through this little bin of mine and looking to see if there's anything that would fit on 2-inch by 2-inch. And I had these different little pieces, and I thought I might use the flower that you just saw, and I pulled that out. And this is a Dilutions stamp and stencil, and I did end up using that stencil that I just showed. And here we begin. So I have my mixed media paper, and I am putting down the black gesso onto the paper with a card, and I dried that off. Now I'm taking that stencil, that Dilution stencil, in my acrylic paint. So this is white acrylic paint. It is not the paste, but it's just so old that you can see it's very thick. And I'm just trying to use it up, right? So this was a good project to use it on because I used quite a bit of it. So all I'm trying to do at this point is to get that design of the stencil onto the black paper. And all I do to get it on the bottom is I turn it the opposite way and I continue on with the acrylic paint. And I went a little bit closer so that you could see a little bit better. And I have to tell you, I love this part of it. And then the big reveal when you pull it off is just like, ooh, it's so pretty. Oh, I just love it. So anyway, I like watch. It's like, ooh, isn't that gorgeous? And so I love the way that it came out. And my thought here is to get the colors on this larger piece of mixed media paper, and then I'm going to cut it down in 2-inch by 2-inch. So I started with a little bit of the brushed pewter distress paint. Now I'm going in with the Guatemalan green silks, and again that's an acrylic glaze. Now my goal here is that black background, even though I want it to peek through, I do not want it to look as black as it does with this acrylic glaze. I go ahead and I continue on, even though I'm not super happy with it, but it's a first good coat. It's a great foundation for what will come next. At this point, I didn't know I was going to start using other products, but I did have to pull out some more. So you can see that there is still you can see the black. It's just too much in the black background. So I pulled out tarnished brass distress paint with my dauber, and you can see that is much more opaque, and where I'm putting it I cannot see that black background as much as when I'm not using it, right? So this is distress paint in Peacock feathers, And I decided this one does not have a dauber, so I just put a little on my work area, and I'm using my makeup sponge, and I'm just getting that down. And you can see how beautifully it covers. I have to tell you, I went through many, many, many different layers to get the final product the way I wanted it. And this was my favorite. So this is Distress Stain, not paint, it's stain, in antique bronze. And I'm actually like, this is smearing it just a tad, but it's also buffing it, believe it or not. It's actually giving it quite a beautiful finished look. To me, it looks very, what is the word? Not tarnished. I'll think of it. So just a patina, just that very old patinaed look. And I'm using this styling tool, right? That an old stylus. For like, I don't know. I never used it for like to do letters and stuff on your iPad or whatever. And I didn't like it. And I'm not trying to get rid of all of it, but you see here, I am covering it up, because I thought I could take it and, do like a blending, and it wouldn't let me blend. So I'm putting all of the same colors back on top. Here's the brush pewter. I put some more of the tarnished brass, more of the peacock feathers, I'm just building it up again. And in the end, you can still see some of that white, and it is absolutely fine. It's another color. And here you go. Look at this. Look at how patinaed that looks. Look at how different it looks. You can still see a little bit of that black that I started the page with. Now, when I cut this in 2 by 2 inch squares, look at this. Look at how different each and every one is. And that was my goal, to get them to look very, very, very different. And you can see there's a bit of a shimmer to it because, I used some, semi-shiny, shimmery, different mediums on this. So I'm super happy with those. And these are the pieces that I pulled out that I figure I'm going to use on the Twinchies. So, I only need to make 3 of the Twinchies for the swap that I'm in. So I do have a little bit extra here, but I'm starting with that same peacock feathers, the same color in the distress paint. And just with my finger, I am getting a little bit of color onto some of the pieces. Right there, I'm just making sure that it'll fit, the way I want it to on top of the Twinchie. And here I am thinking, okay, so I pulled out some of my white gouache, and I'm going to get the cloud nice and white, making sure I get the edges. And I'm really liking that. I'm happy with that. That was easy, right? It's a cloud, it's white. That wasn't too hard. And now I'm using the tarnished brass distress paint on this, what almost looks like, the sun to me, almost, right? I put a little extra on my work area, and I'm picking it up with the brush to make sure I can get the sides of it. And now I'm taking that peacock feathers, and I'm putting some of it on top of it. If you want to have, that old look, use the peacock feathers on top of a gold. It gives such a beautiful look. And I'm taking my white Posca paint pen and going around the edges, and I'm going to show you real quick that that's how it is going to look on the card. And again, it's very patinaed looking. And now I'm using liquid glass made by Deco Art. And it's so thick that I'm using a brush to get it out. And I'm putting 2 layers on each of these pieces. It really gives such a beautiful final look to each of these pieces. It makes them thicker and heavier and shiny. and more durable, I want to say. So, now I let them sit overnight and they dried. Now I'm using my VersaFine Clair and my ink, and it is new. And it's a new brand out. The colors are gorgeous. I'd say more opaque than regular VersaFine. And I went around the edges of the little Twinchie, and now I am adhering the little butterfly, which is just a die cut, on top of the corrugated butterfly. And I'm very happy with that. And I used my Tombow Mono Liquid Glue to adhere that down. Now I'm just using the pop dots to get this on there. I do want to have even more dimension, and I kept, placing it over, over the card, so I would know exactly where those little adhesive squares needed to go. So there, I'm going to show you. Watch the dimension of this. Look at how beautiful that is. Look at the shine on the butterflies. I don't know if you can, see, you can barely see it, but it's gorgeous. I did go ahead and do the cloud. I put a little heart on it. And now we're going to work on what I would call the sun together. And what I'm trying to do, and you'll notice with the other two pieces, I'm putting a word from Tim Holtz Chit Chat up in the left-hand corner. So when I'm working on this, I'm making sure that there's room for me to put the word on there. So then what I do is I go ahead, and you're going to see I'm going to grab that gel pen. It's a Jelly Roll metallic gel pen. Wow, that's a mouthful. And I'm just going around the words on each of the little Twinchies, and I'm just showing you the edges have the brown around it, the words have the jelly roll around it. I am like super happy with each one of these. I'm hoping that my swap partner enjoys these as much as I enjoyed making them. And here's some photos for you. Have you ever made a Twinchie? Have you heard of a Twinchie? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment. Go ahead and hit that like button, and please subscribe. And I appreciate you all. Remember, go take out your stash and create.